TikTok is undeniably one of the most powerful tools you can use to grow your business. And in this video, I'll be showing you how to use it to generate leads. No matter what kind of business you are, if you are consulting, if you're selling an online course, financial services, mortgages, health insurance, fitness plans, whatever you're doing, if there's any possibility that your business would do better if you had more leads, then this is the video for you. And I'm not just going to show you how to set up an account really quickly. I'll walk you through every single step from absolute beginner, yes, setting up the account, but also configuring the ad, the creative aspect of it, the analytics, how to manage the 3 different tiers in the pyramid of running your ad, and ultimately how to make a successful lead generation ad that you can run on TikTok. So the objective in this video is pretty simple: to get you more leads using TikTok. The way we're going to do it is pretty straightforward as well. So I recommend you either follow along step by step throughout this video. If you maybe watch this on one tab and work on the other, or maybe you watch it on your phone and work on your laptop, or at the very least, I recommend taking out a notepad and a piece of paper and taking notes throughout the video. So whenever the time comes, you'll be able to make successful ads on TikTok that can get more leads and ultimately grow your business. And with that being said, let's head over to my laptop. I'm going to type in santrelmedia.com/TikTok ads. Now, of course, you could also just go to TikTok and navigate here yourself, but we recommend going through this link, one, because it's an affiliate link, so it helps us to keep content like this free at absolutely no extra cost to you. In fact, it's an anti-cost for you. It's savings for you. By going through this, as long as you're in the right regions, you will be getting a spend match, just free money right there. And it goes up to, I think, $1,500. And TikTok is actually doing more than just dollar matching here. If you spend $100, they give you an extra $200 in credit. And that goes all the way up to you spending $1,500, and they'll give you $3,000 in credit just by going through our link down below. But if you choose to go through our link, you're literally getting free money by doing that, and you help to support the channel at the same time. So it's kind of a win-win for both parties here. Now, let's say get started right here. We're going to say get started, and I'm going to create an account. If you already have a TikTok account and you want to use your personal one, or if you have a business TikTok, go on down here and click sign up with TikTok. I am going to deselect subscribe. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to enter an email and a password. Say continue. Then we can confirm our email. And now we can start to populate some of our business details. For the example in this video, I'm going to say, let's just say I am a YouTube consultant. Maybe I'm selling consulting calls or any type of consulting course or something like that, where I'm going to be educating people how to grow a YouTube channel, something like that. So as far as our, now for the industry, I'm going to say probably education and training, some type of education here. Business name is going to be Santrel YouTube. Click here and say get started. I'm going to say accept. We can choose our billing information. So we are in, and by the way, this is not going to charge you right away. It's not going to charge us till we actually run ads, but they like setting this up already here. So we're going to say go to ads manager now. And now we can choose either basic or advanced. I'm going to choose advanced. You could choose basic in the future if you're looking for something quick and easy, but advanced I think is really what we're definitely looking for here. They're going to say got it. Now we can choose the advertising objective. Now, remember, we are trying to generate leads, so you can probably guess which one we're going to be going with here. That's right, lead generation. So click on lead generation. And what's cool about this on TikTok is that it allows you to either use forms that you already have on your website, if you do have that, or if right now you're thinking like, I don't have a website, or I don't have a good lead form on my website. You can use forms directly, like made by TikTok, embedded automatically, and that's what we're going to do in this video. So now before we continue down, I want to point out on the left side, we have 3 steps here. Step 1 is the campaign, step 2 is the ad group, and step 3 is the ad. So you can think of this as like a hierarchy. At the very top, everything is below a campaign. So one campaign that we're running right here is going to be for lead gen for this new program where I'm doing consulting calls. Below that, you can have multiple ad groups, and the ad groups could be maybe targeting high income individuals. Maybe you're targeting just US individuals in another group. Maybe you're targeting like a really broad thing in the middle. So you can have different ad groups based on who you're targeting or other metrics as well, or maybe just how much you're spending, the objective, different things like that. And in the very bottom of that pyramid, you have the ads, and those are going to be the individual videos. So each ad group, maybe you want to have 7 or 8 different ads that are nearly identical, but just have different copy on them. Maybe they have captions versus no captions. Maybe they have a male versus female character on screen. Maybe you have AI generated versus human generated. So different ads that you want to test, you can put within the ad groups on the bottom. So that's kind of like, you want to keep that in mind throughout this video, the triangle, the pyramid that I'm talking about right there, the hierarchy of how how we set this whole thing up. So let's go down. Now continuing on with this campaign configuration. The campaign name. This is going to be, I'm going to call this lead gen, just so I know in the future. You can always rename these as well. And if you're only running one, it probably doesn't matter as much about what you're naming it. But, in the future, I think it's helpful to have your campaigns accurately named, or at least easy to remember what they are. You can choose if you want to have a CBO, so that's going to be your budget. You just say, I want to spend this much money on this campaign as a whole, and then TikTok can allocate budget to different ads and different ad groups based on what's performing best. I'm not going to do that right now, and we could set an entire campaign budget if you wanted to. So let's just say maybe it's like $100, or maybe let's just say maybe $500 is going to be the entire budget for the campaign, and you could set that up either as a daily or a lifetime budget. So maybe like no matter what, I don't want to spend more than $500 a day. I kind of set that up just in case I'm running individual ads and I forget to maybe set a limit on one of them, or whatever it might be. Just having a total budget for the campaign could be a good idea, so you don't accidentally completely drain your bank. Now let's say continue. And that brings us down to the ad group. Now you can rename this ad group to whatever you want. Again, keep it something that makes sense here. And then we can choose our optimization location. This is where I said you could either have your website form, and you can have a TikTok pixel on there. And the optimization event would be whenever somebody clicks submit, for example, on the form, and then you get leads going in that way. Now, what we're going to do in this video is an instant form, just in case you're using your website somewhere else, or if you don't have a website yet, anybody can use the instant form. And it's something that I think is really quite beneficial here. Then scrolling down to placements, if you click on advanced settings, we're going to customize this really quick. I recommend leaving search results enabled. Some of the most high intent individuals are going to be searching. So if I'm a YouTube consultant and somebody goes on TikTok and they search for YouTube consultant, and my ad is served to them at the top, that you could imagine that they're much more likely to be engaging with that ad because I'm doing exactly what they're looking for, and they were searching for it. It's not browsing. This is something that has like people who have a lot of intent. So I recommend including search results. We can have comments right there. Again, I recommend enabling comments, keeping comments on right here. TikTok recommends it as well. It could be a good way for you to kind of understand what's doing well and what's not doing well. Maybe if you're getting a lot of questions and comments, first of all, it's a good way for you to engage with those and answer questions for people, but also a good way for you to learn what a lot of people don't understand about your product, so you can, reformat your ads in the future and really learn and evolve and make something that is even more successful in the future. Video download, I'm going to disable that. I don't really see a need for people to download these videos unless they're trying to like copy the video. So for me, I just usually disable that, but you can leave it enabled if you wanted. Video sharing sounds great. If anybody really likes your service and they want to share it, maybe they'll share your ad organically just like that. Now, going down to targeting. This is where you can customize your audience, and you'll see on the top right, the available audience right now is fairly broad. By fairly broad, it's 105 million people up to 129. I would say that's very broad. But then we can actually choose, if you have a saved audience, which you don't right now, you could choose that at the top. You could choose a demographic. So I'm saying, yes, just United States. You could choose just male, female, whatever. Like, for example, if you're doing something, maybe you're doing like a clinical trial and you want to find people to sign up and you have to have male patients, for example, maybe you'd want to narrow that down right here. I'm going to leave it on all genders right now. You could choose the age groups here. Again, this is something that I will just leave set as it is because TikTok does a really good job on pretty much all of these on really figuring out who the best audience actually is. There's not a whole lot that I need to do on the back end. High spending power is something that maybe you want to do if you have a really high ticket item. If it's really expensive, you could go and enable high spending power. I'm not going to do that right now because, again, it doesn't really matter what these people spend on TikTok. Maybe they don't buy a lot of products. Maybe they don't even have like a huge amount of money, but maybe what I'm serving them is like exactly what they're trying to do. And maybe it's something that can really help them and they're willing to spend money on that. You can also narrow down household income, which kind of blows my mind that TikTok is able to figure that out. And then interest in behaviors, maybe you would want to say like YouTube, maybe like YouTube channel. I could just add YouTube channel, just kind of give TikTok like a little bit of a head start there on where this ad is trying to go just in the beginning. But again, that brings it down to too narrow. There's only like 1,000 people who are actively interested in YouTube channel. So I'm going to remove that. And it brings us back to a fairly broad audience right here. And then if you go down to device, you can actually choose if it is on Android or iOS. And that could be really important if it's an app or any type of thing that you're dealing with. Maybe you're just looking for, one version right there. Typically, because we're not like advertising games, this is lead generation. I don't recommend changing anything about the operating system or anything like that. Then down here, we have the budget and the schedule. So maybe $50 per day on this ad group would be good. Actually, I'm going to say $100 per day on this ad group would be sufficient. And maybe we want to run a couple ads within this ad group. And remember, the campaign budget was $500. So we could have 5 ad groups within this and still spend $500 per day with $100 per ad group. But because we only have one ad group right now, it's only going to be $100 per day, not $500. You can choose the start time and the end time. Maybe you only want to run, during the middle of the day, or maybe only at night, maybe on lunch break. Whenever it is, you can choose the specific time for when that's going to be. And then down here, you can choose your target CPA. If you want to spend only so many dollars per lead, you could add that right here. In the beginning, I'm not going to add that. We're just going to see how things go as it is right now. And eventually we're going to, you kind of want to balance between having higher quality leads and having cheaper leads, right? You can get a lot of leads for really cheap, but they might all be very low quality. And if you spend a lot of money and you get the highest quality leads, maybe that'd be better, but it depends on your business, on how much money you're actually spending for those qualified leads. We'll say next, and that will bring us down to the ad. Now, I'm not going to select smart creative ads. We don't need that, but let's name this ad. It's going to be YouTube free audit. And so maybe as like an incentive here, we're going to offer people like a free 5-minute call about their YouTube channel that allows them to kind of learn a little bit more and then potentially sign up for maybe a consultation call in full. So we're going to go down here and you can choose Spark ads. That's going to be if you already have an ad or a video on your TikTok account that you want to amplify here. That's going to be a Spark ad. It doesn't even have to be on your TikTok account. For example, if you worked with a different creator and they have the ad and you have, if you're permitted to share that, as long as you have that enabled with Spark ads, then you will be able to amplify that as well and run that as an ad. We're not going to do that in this video. Instead, we're going to upload a single video, just upload a video of our own and not use Spark ads. Now we can set a custom identity. So I'm going to say this is going to be Santrel YouTube Consultants, and then we can add a profile picture here as well. We'll say submit. Now we have our logo, we have our name right there. You can customize that as however you like. Then we can say create, and that will show up. Now you can see that'll show up down there. That'll show up on your ad as well. So like right there, that's showing up. And then down here, we can upload our actual video. So I'm going to click on upload. Now, by the way, we have a video that I'll be using right here, but I will show you a little bit later on the video how to actually create your own ad, some different ways of how you want to structure that. So definitely stick around for that segment. So we'll click on upload. It's uploading that one video. Now we can actually choose the text we're going to have right here. And we can also choose the call to action. Right now there are 8 selected, as you can see right here. It's going to kind of test all of them and see which one is the best. But you could say which one doesn't actually make sense. So maybe order now doesn't make sense. Maybe view now could. Yes. Sign up. Watch now. That doesn't really make sense. Visit store doesn't make sense. Interested. Apply now. Experience now. So let's go down and see which ones would probably make the most sense. Contact us. Get quote, book now definitely makes sense. So I think those probably make the most sense right there. So I'm going to select all of those. And like I said, it's actually going to test all of them. The 10 top performing CTAs have been selected for us right now. We reselected. We still, I think, about 9 right there. And it's going to maximize our performance based on which one does the best. That's something I really like about TikTok ads. I think it's pretty cool. Now, with this one right here, you can see we don't have a thumbnail. So if we click on thumbnail, that's the first frame that shows up on this. So we can choose, maybe it's going to be like that right here. I don't know. This is actually not a TikTok ad. This is like a different short I made for a tech channel, but I'm just using this one for this video. Now, let's choose the ad text here. So I'm just going to say, grow your YouTube channel to 10,000 to 1 million subscribers this year with our 7-step process, something like that. So you can see people will see it and they know, all right, you're growing your YouTube channel. That's the first thing we want to say. You're kind of front loading that copy there into like really narrowing down exactly what people are looking for, kind of hitting that pain point there. Then we have interactive add-ons. I recommend clicking on create, and this is going to be a little pop-up on the bottom. As you can see, let's say okay. They have little cards on the bottom, so we can just say create, and it's going to have a display card. It's going to show up in the first, let's just say the first, so it's going to show up in the first 2 seconds, maybe in the first 3 seconds. Let's leave it at, let's make it 3 seconds. And this could be, any of the ones up here. You can have your custom card if you make this maybe in Canva, for example. But let's just say we want something simple, just like this right here. We're going to say maybe you're getting like 20 or 25% off, 25% off. And the description is going to be book now. Discount description is going to be first consultation call, 25% off, book now. That seems fine to me. You can change the color on this. So maybe we want it to be like red for YouTube would kind of make sense, I guess. Book now. Let's also add an image right here. Maybe this one would be good. Say confirm. That'll add one little image over on the right side. It's actually a screenshot from my friend Patty Galloway, who actually does YouTube consulting. And like that graph does wonders for him. That's an incredible graph. But you know, he actually, that's legit. He gets results. So let's say confirm. Now we have this right here. This is, again, just an example. Wow, that's a terrible thumbnail, by the way. I would like to change that. All right, so now that'll show up at the 2-second mark as an incentive. I really like how TikTok structures this in a very logical order as well. So you have the video, you have the text, you have the call to action, what you want them to do. You have the extra call to action with the add-on right there, and then the destination. What are you trying to do here? Well, we have an instant form. We want people to fill in the form so we get those leads. Now, we're going to create an instant form, and there should be a couple options on how to do this. So if we click on create, that'll open up the builder for an instant form. You have the classic layout and you have the card layout. So card layout's kind of cool, kind of like a slideshow, like a slide deck going through. So like, hey, let's get started. It takes 2 minutes. I think this is pretty cool. It's a new way to set it up. It's probably worth trying. So I'll show you how to do both in this video. The classic layout, you have the blank form, which you can add all of your own stuff in. You have the simple form, which is the minimal effort for you to do. You basically just add like your logo and what the questions are, but TikTok takes care of like the background and most of it for you. Like you really don't have to do much. Then the rich content form, this is a big one because you can add a lot of stuff on here. If you scroll down, you can have an About Us section, you can have FAQs, you can have customer testimonials, you can have your product offerings. This just shows a lot more information. And so this one really could convert well and drive some very high quality leads as, you know, once people click on it, they're not just typing their name in and like hoping they got it right. They're able to learn a lot more about it right here. So it kind of gives you more information to share with the customer than you would otherwise be able to share in just a 60-second ad. Now let's actually go to card layout. I just want to kind of dive into this real quick. We'll say confirm for the card layout, and it's going to have us set this up right here. So you can choose the welcome page, what the background is going to be, if you want to include your logo, the title, and the description. And then if you say display time estimate takes 1 minute, I think that's kind of beneficial as well. So they know, all right, step one, tell us about your channel. It takes 1 minute. So we'll say questions. The questions are going to be maybe like contact information. They want to know first name, last name, phone number, and we can customize this as well if we don't need to know, for example, phone number. Let's say we don't need phone number, first name, last name, email. Now we can add some custom question cards. This is going to be short answer. There we go. So there's our first question card. The second one's going to be contact information. Now let's add a second question card. This is going to be, maybe it's going to be a short answer again. So let's add a third one as well. And maybe there's going to be multiple choice. And this could be, how many subscribers do you currently? So you can see how you're really able to build this out, not only for a form that makes them more confident in what they're actually like going to do with you, but also helps you a lot as well. When you have these, these new leads, you know a lot more about them. So if you give them a call or email them, you can really talk more specifically about what their problems are. You can prepare ahead of time and hopefully, have a very high value customer here. You can add your privacy policy. This could also be like, you could link it anywhere. I mean, technically you could make this as like on Google Docs, for example, just have a PDF if you really wanted to. But just have some privacy policy. You can find templates out there as well. So on the right side, you can actually click through these and you see how it's kind of like a transparent background, translucent background. I think that looks pretty cool. So whatever your first photo is, you're going to see that throughout. Then we can actually choose, so view website is going to be the button right there. We could say book a call, or we could just say step 2, book a call, and this can link to your website. Now, if you don't have a way to book calls and if you want to actually book calls, I just made a video. I think I'm going to publish this probably about the same time with Acuity scheduling and how to set up booking. And you can actually get paid on there for consultation calls. You can do scheduling on there. You can really do a lot using Acuity. So I recommend checking that video out if you don't already have a website. It also integrates incredibly well with Squarespace because it's owned by Squarespace. So Squarespace and Acuity just works so well for a business like this. So I recommend checking that out. But if you already have a website, obviously just type that in right now. You can add a second button on here as well if you wanted to. I'm not going to install the app. That doesn't really make a lot of sense. So let's check out the other pages we have. So you can see all the questions through here. Question 2, what is your YouTube channel name? What's your biggest struggle? How many subscribers? personal information, privacy policy, and then of course the submission, the complete, and it's going to say step 2, book a call. So rather than just telling them like, all right, cool, thanks, like here's our website, and then hope that we reach out, it's a little more proactive for them while they're like really engaged, like they just went through that whole process, to then book a call with you. So again, kind of an even more engaged lead if they're the one booking the call. So let's say complete. If we didn't miss anything, that should be all set up. And we can have a disclaimer on here if we wanted to. We can agree that the ad is correct. And then we can choose the TikTok events tracking. So if you have any events you want to track right there, third-party tracking, and let's go down and clicking this little box right here and say submit. Now it's going to be reviewed, and as long as we didn't do anything against the terms of service, it should be approved by TikTok, and we will be able to get this up and running. So we have to actually choose how we're paying for this. I'm going to set it up with a credit card. Then I can say submit. We can say confirm. It's currently processing our payment. All right, cool. So now that we have that, let's just go back to, back to campaigns. Let's go back to campaigns. And that should take us to basically our dashboard right here. So because I don't actually want to run this ad, I'm going to disable this campaign right now on the left, but kind of showing you guys, or that's the ad, sorry. Across the top, we have the ad group, and the campaign. So you can kind of enable or disable each one right here. Currently the account is in review, so that's why it's not running right now. Usually it takes a couple hours, and then that will say delivering, so the ad will be running. But of course, campaign, ad group, ad, like I said, if you have one campaign and you want to run multiple ads within, or multiple ad groups within that, you can very easily duplicate this one by clicking copy. So you just make a copy of this one right here. We'll say copy, and that's going to build out a second ad group that is identical to the first one, where you could then go and change, hey, maybe this time, instead of the instant form, we're sending people over to the website, for example. Or maybe instead, we are placing them without search results, stuff like that. So I'm going to go back to campaigns. Let's go back to campaign on the top. There we go. So you can see we should have 2 ad groups here. I didn't actually finish the second one, so that's why it's not showing up. And then of course with ads as well, I recommend making a bunch of ads within each ad group. So you just click on copy, and everything is going to be identical, all the same text, all the same links and everything, the form, everything is going to be the same, but you're able to swap out what the video is or what the copy is saying on the video, really make individual changes. So just like I did with ad group, if you click on copy, you'll see it'll bring us into the full thing right here. So it asks us what campaign, what ad group, that's where we want it to be. Maybe we want like 3 copies of this, 4 copies of this, and we could just make those copies right now. So if you say copy, it'll bring us into the editor for each individual one, and we're able to, like I said, change, just change the video, or just change this. Maybe I just want to add a period there. All these little changes, I mean, probably more than a period, but a lot of the small changes you can make can have subtle differences that are really ultimately important on which ad is going to perform the best, which one gives you the highest quality leads at the lowest cost with the best conversion rate as well. Let's go back to campaign. And like I said, because this is an example, a tutorial that I don't actually want to put money behind, I'm going to disable these. But in the future, if you ever want to change if your ads are running or not, the little on-off switch right here is going to be exactly what you want to do. Of course, if you ever want to edit them, little edit button right there, and you can view data as well. So if we want to see maybe, for example, this entire campaign, let's go to view data. Nothing's been happening yet, but it'll show us the total cost, the CTR. You can see the placements, the ad groups, all this information right here is going to be given to you after you run the ad for some amount of time. Now, talking a little bit more about how to make a successful ad, there's a really great resource that TikTok gives us that allows us to look at which ads are actually performing well, and then we can analyze what is really going on in those ads. So if we go to tiktok.com/business/en, I assume that's for English, we can go and look at resources, and then go down to Creative Center, and that'll bring you into a new tab right here. Actually, I'll just put this link down below in the description with all the other links in this video. And you can see right here, so let's close out of that. I recommend doing this after setting up your TikTok business account, because otherwise you won't be able to see everything that it wants to show you anyway. So let's go here and say, let's look at some top ad examples. We're going to click on Get Started. And from here, we can choose, okay, any ads that are running in the United States. We can look at individual industries. So maybe this is going to be for, let's say, education, financial services, things like that. We can look at the objective, and we want lead generation as the objective there. We could look at ads just within the last 30 days. The ad language, I would like this to be English so I can understand what's going on here. We'll say English. Unfortunately, I don't speak any other languages well enough. We can choose the ad format. So a lot of them are going to be Spark ads, but you could say non-Spark ads as well. So just ones that people uploaded specifically for this. So these are probably going to be a lot more of companies doing that. And now we can watch any one of these and learn a lot from them. So like these two right here seem to be, I think, the same person, and they are selling insurance. So if we just look at this real quick.
Rhyme with quicksand should rhyme with timeshare. It's a financial money pit. You toss in timeshare fees, assessment fees, and in return, you get a vacation. They can feel impossible to book.
So this one has a very interesting hook, even though she doesn't speak very quickly, which I think is kind of a nice change of pace here. Starting off by saying quicksand should rhyme with, and then kind of a slight pause, it gets your brain turning, and like, I don't know, at least for me, subconsciously you start to think, what does quicksand rhyme with? You start to think of different rhymes, and then they say something that clearly doesn't rhyme. They say timeshare, and then you're like, whoa, that's not what I expected. And so that's kind of a useful hook. I think that was pretty creative that she did right there. All right, so this one I think is really good. So right here,
I almost died a couple months.
He starts by saying I almost died. All right, he's going to tell us a story. That's going to be really interesting. But then the second sentence he starts saying if he died, nobody would know where to find stuff. And the whole thing is you need a will. And I think that's absolutely genius. I think a lot of people out there will probably watch this and say, yeah, like, I don't have a will. I think most people under the age of probably 65 don't have a will. And so that could be like a great service to be selling. I think it's a really well-made ad. Let's watch it one more time, but all the way through. Again, top 1% of CTR, very, very high click-through rate, meaning it's a very effective ad. You can actually categorize on the top. You can actually sort by CTR. I think that's a really useful tool. Just kind of go through and see what people are doing that's working really well. And this one looks like maybe it's a professional camera. Maybe it's even just an iPhone with good lighting. He's in a kitchen and he's just talking. So let's check it out.
I almost died a couple months ago right here at home. And I will tell you this, the thing about that unexpected situation was that I realized that although I have some things in place, nobody would have known where to find that. My family doesn't really know which banks I'm with. There's so much information that they would not have known. And so what it inspired me to do was to create a free planning tool that you can use right now by clicking the link that's directly above or below this video. It's going to allow you to let your loved ones know what to do if anything unexpected.
Now you notice right there, he did a call to action in the middle of the video. So he didn't wait until the end. He said, you can learn more about this. It's free, clicking up there or down there. So right there, he's already doing a call to action. So anybody watches the hook, they're like, oh, cool, he's telling a story. Then he says, I don't have a will. And that makes you think, yeah, I don't have a will either. And then he gives you a solution. It says, free planning tool linked like right there. Just got to click the button and you're ready to go. So that's a great way to get leads. Maybe you're giving out like a free planning tool like this guy is. Again, kind of having that exchange of value in exchange for somebody giving you their details. Maybe they're getting a discount. Maybe they're getting a free consultation call. Maybe they're getting a free PDF. Like what he's doing right here is probably some type of planning tool.
To you. Let's say you're injured and can't talk. How do they know what to do on your behalf? How do they know what bills to pay? How do they even know where your key information is at? It's going to let them know that information. I'll tell you this right now. Tomorrow's not promised and today is not a guarantee either. So take advantage of this free, secure tool and even let your loved ones know about it, because this can be the difference between a lot of stress in your family or them having peace of mind.
All right, I don't know about you, but I want to click on that like right now and actually fill that out. So let's check out some other ones. See what's working really well for people. And you can actually see, so it's going to be loading a couple more down here. There are going to be a lot of CTR ones that are credit card ones just because they're offering like free cash for people or something like that. So I'm not really too worried about those. So now I want to show you this one next. This has a very different style from the first one I showed you. And this one is meant to feel much more casual and organic, just like some girl in her house or college dorm or wherever she is replying to a comment. She's pointing to the comment right on the top. The comment says, I need a job right now. And she's going to start off like very authentic feeling like I have the perfect job for you. And this is a lead gen tool, but it just feels like a regular video that someone makes organically. Let's check it out.
I have the perfect job for you. You can do it from home and the pay is great.
All right, so obviously starting off with really big promise.
Is check emails and you get paid for it. That sounds pretty good, hey? Swipe left.
swipe left, obviously the call to action at the end is probably not the best ad out there. Like you could tell that it wasn't completely organic, but the intro in the beginning definitely was pretty organic. Seemed pretty good, pretty strong promise in there. And so that's a type of ad that could potentially do very well also. And then, I mean, like, let's just learn from the great here. Shopify is obviously using Mr. Beast right here in a collab.
Oh, okay, it's skyrocketed.
Starting off showing a ton of money. Genius. Like, that's obviously working really well. And then the first thing he says is, I sold out. Okay, so that's telling you right away that he found a tool that earns him a lot of money and functions very well. They also show Shopify on his shirts so the entire time, that kind of a brand awareness play.
I sold out my entire collection in under 2 minutes.
All right. He sold out in 2 minutes. That's obviously means that there's, it works really well. The website didn't crash. He was able to, reach the entire distribution that he had.
It's really that easy to start your own business on Shopify.
Saying it's easy to start a business on Shopify. So again, kind of like your promise there. So first, telling you like what's exciting, the call to action, breaking common knowledge, just something interesting as a hook in the beginning, then addressing the problem, then telling people what the solution is. And of course, don't forget the call to action right here.
Mr. Beast right now.
He's saying go to shopify.com/MrBeast. So it's kind of lead gen, but it's not really lead gen. Like they're not asking people to fill out a form right here. But again, it's worth watching anything that Mr. Beast does. He's pretty much a master in this field. And there is again with another high reach ad there. If you're sorting by reach, you're going to find a lot of larger companies that have substantially larger budgets, and they might be working in a slightly different fashion than you will be. DoorDash, you could see, Shopify, let's see who else we have. Ideal Image, a lot of larger companies out there. Dexcom is a pretty big one. So I don't recommend sorting by reach. You can also sort by shorter videos, CTR, likes, CVR. Let's just say for you, kind of whatever TikTok chooses to show us. All right, so this is kind of a strange one. I don't know how much I like this format, but I do like that they kind of walk you through the process. They either show your website or at least show the form that people are going to be filling out so they know what's going on right here. So
learn how to create our own app.
Telling you to create your own app.
Swipe left.
Swiping left to get into the form that we were talking about.
Visit website.
Okay, so you can see that's kind of just walking people through the form. I don't know if that's really my favorite way to set this up. It's meant to look very casual with kind of not honestly very good lighting. Maybe she's in a living room or a kitchen right now, not near any windows. I don't know. It works, but probably not my favorite ad. But still, like the good aspect from that you want to take away is you are showing people the website that they're going to, or at the very least showing people the form that they will be filling out so that when they get there, they're a little more familiar with it. All right, this one is a high budget, doesn't have the best CTR, but it looks like a welding school.
Company, I work when I want, I make really great money. I'm not worried about life anymore. I know that no matter what happens, I'll be all right. When it comes to...
So there you have it. That is my crash course on how to set up TikTok ads for lead generation. I wish you all the best of luck, and I hope to become one of your many leads that you generate using TikTok. So since you watched the video this long, hopefully that means you found it helpful. Please consider subscribing. And like I said, I recommend checking out that Acuity or Squarespace video next in case those tools might also be useful for your business.